Hello learners, in today's class we will be discussing part 2 of week 3, which is aspects of intellectual development. In the last lecture we had discussed social and intellectual development. Today we are further moving on into the aspects of intellectual development. When we talk about intellectual development, intelligence is the ability to learn and apply knowledge. Intelligence tests reveal that intellectual growth is rapid in infancy, moderate in childhood, and slow in youth. So when we talk about intellectual growth, when we talk about intelligence, a lot of you may have heard that a child learns a lot during the first few years of his or her growth. So when we talk about intelligence or when we talk about intellectual growth, it is rapid in infancy, in infants, and moderate in childhood, and slow in youth. And when we talk about intellectual development, it is very important to talk about perception. What are the sensation to perception? How do you perceive things? What are the perception that you have about certain situation or certain things? Sensation refers to the process of sensing our environment through touch, taste, sight, sound, and smell. This information is sent to our brains in raw form, where perception comes into play. Perception is the way we interpret these sensations and therefore make sense of everything around us. So when we talk about intellectual development, it is very important to talk about perception, sensation to perception. How does perception comes about? Perception comes about through the senses, because it is through the senses that you are able to touch, taste, sight, see, sound, and smell. And what happens is, through these senses, information is sent to our brains in raw form, where perception comes into play. And through perception, you are able to interpret and make sense of everything around us. Sensation becomes a perception when meaning is attached to it. Senses matured by the age of 5, and before children are the age of 5, they tend to usually misrepresent sensation. But by the time they're 5 years of age, they are able to sense things properly. What happens during adolescence? Perception organizes and refines in adolescence. Adolescents can smell everything, can sense everything in the environment, the lights, the colors, the shapes, the smells, and so on. And all this information is sent to our brain. So when children are at an infancy stage, they usually represent sensation, but senses matured by the age of 5, and by the time the children are in their adolescent stage, they are able to organize the perception and refine them, and they are able to sense everything in the environment. Like they are able to see the colors, they are able to see the lights, they are able to see shapes, they are able to identify the different types of smells, and all these information is sent to the brain. If we would become conscious of every little detail that surrounds us, our brain would be overwhelmed. Perception makes the selection and chooses the relevant sensation to be processed and turned into perception. So, brain becomes conscious of every detail that surrounds us. Our brain would be overwhelmed. It may be too much for the brain to take. So what happens is, the perception, what we perceive, perception makes the selection and chooses the relevant sensations to be processed and turned into perception. For example, if You see an aeroplane in the sky, it may look like a bird, but our perception makes us realize that it is a big object and it is an aeroplane with two wings and hence resembles a big bird. So, this is how you perceive the aeroplane to be. You see an aeroplane in the sky, it may look like a bird, but our perception makes us realize that it is a big object. You recognize that it is an aeroplane with two wings and hence it resembles a big bird. So, other than sensation to perception, we are going to talk about what is concept formation. We have talked about sensation to perception. Now we are going to talk about concept formation. Concept formation, why are we going to talk about concept formation? We are going to talk about concept formation because it is a very important aspect of intellectual development. It is the highest level of thinking and is the reorganizing aspect of a perception. Concepts are learned through experience. Children's first concepts are concrete, identified by sensory qualities. As we grow, we acquire more abstract or theoretical concepts by building on our early concrete ideas. For example, a young child at the age of 5 may understand the concept of a cow. So, as we grow, we acquire more abstract or theoretical concepts by building on our early concrete ideas. Broadening on this concept, the child may acquire the concepts of farm and farm animals as he or she grows older, and a more abstract concept is ultimately an older child will understand the concept of agriculture. A concept is a generalization that helps to organize information into categories. So, when we talk about concept formation, it is a very important aspect of intellectual development. Like a child will have the concept of a cow when he is, let's say, at the age of 5. As he and she grows older, his intellectual development would increase and he or she may acquire concrete concept, abstract concept, or would be able to acquire more complex concept like farm animals. And as he or she grows older, a more complex concept like agriculture, the older child will be able to understand this concept of agriculture, which is more complex than the concept of a cow when he or she was younger. So, what is concept formation and what is a concept? A concept is a generalization that helps to organize information into categories. For example, the concept square. What do you mean by the concept square? Square is used to describe things that has 4 equal sides and 4 right angles. Thus, the concept categorizes things whose properties meet the set requirements. Children acquire concepts similar to the way they acquire language. They apply labels and name things imitatively, like pointing and saying dog. So, when you are talking about concept, when you grow older, you are able to identify what the concepts are. For example, when I mentioned the concept of square, you would be able to describe that these things are what are square. Square are things that have 4 equal sides and 4 equal right angles. Through conditioning, children will generalize concepts saying dog for other small 4-legged animals like cats and pigs, as well as discriminate between them. Examples: saying dog for animals which play with them, but saying horse for animals that people ride on development, or for animals that people ride. And the child is able to develop concept is able to form concept from vague to clear, from concrete to abstract. So through conditioning, children are able to generalize concepts. They would be able to say, you know, when they would say dog for animals, because dogs are animals which with which they can play, and also saying horse for animals that people ride on. So development, when children grow older and older, development of concept becomes from vague to clear, or from concrete to abstract. Children has poor concept of time, but by learning to discriminate, the child concepts becomes clear, definite and specific. For example, a infant may not be able to understand what is morning, what is afternoon, evening or night, but as she or he grows older, the child would be able to understand this is morning, this is afternoon, this is evening, or this is night. When we are talking about these aspects of intellectual development, language development is also very important, because it leads to, or it contributes to, what is called intellectual development. It contributes to what is your mental development. And language, according to Piaget, develops between 2 to 7 years of age, and language development reflects child's cognitive abilities and limitations. From 18 months, that is from a child who is 1.5 years old to 5 years of age, a child's vocabulary quickly expands from about 50 words to several thousand words. So when you have a proper language development, when you have proper you are able to form proper sentences, especially from the age of 1.5 years of age to 5 years of age, then the child vocabulary also expands. So when a child reaches around 3 plus, then the child is sent to school, because it is believed that at this stage, the child would be able to speak and communicate, and would be able to learn what the teachers are teaching at school. Children can begin to name and to actively ask about objects and events. By the time the child is 2 years, he or she begins to put words together in short phrases, progressing to form simple sentences. Mothers and fathers play a huge part in forming the child's language. Mothers typically adjust their speech to fit the child's level. This is called motherese. Now, before I go on to explain what is this, what is motherese, when we talk about language development, mothers and fathers are very important part of language development of the child, because the way you talk to the child, the way you encourage the child, the language that you use, whether it is your mother tongue or whether it is other languages, the child will catch the language very early on, very easily, with whatever language you are speaking to the child during his or her infancy. So mothers and fathers have a very important role in forming the child's language and to develop the child's vocabulary. And like I said, parents are the first school of learning. So parents play a very important part in forming the child's language. The way he speaks, the way he or she speaks, is he or she using polite words, is he or she speaking in the mother tongue? All these are very important role that parents play in the development of the child's language. What is motherese? Motherese is how especially mothers typically adjust their speech to fit the child's level. Let me give you an example. I meet a child who is 1 year old or 2 year old, and I speak to the child in a very slow manner. I would be like, oh wow, certain facial expressions would come about when I speak to a child. My speech will be slow. When I speak to a 1 year old or a 2 year old, I would my facial expressions will change, and there would be certain words that I speak very slowly and very lovingly. Like I will say, "You are so brave." This is how. This is an example of what motherese is. It is how especially mothers typically adjust their speech to fit the child's level. This kind of this motherese is found in practically every culture on the planet, and it has certain common characteristic. Like I said, sentences tend to be short, there is a lot of repetition, and there is a sing-song quality to it. It contains many special baby words. It is also embedded in the context of the immediate surroundings, and there is also a lot of change in the facial expression when mothers especially use, or when they speak to infants. So this is what is called motherese. When we talk about intellectual development, it is very important to talk about memory development, because memory is the storehouse of our earlier experience. Brain cells memorize experience. Brain cells are called neurons. Harlock and Schwartz analyze that memory impression forms in the first 6 months. True remembrance begins by the first year. Memory is strong for persons and objects in the first 2 years. The child recounts a story by 3 years. So, when a child reaches the age of 1, the child is able to remember or able to recognize his or her parents' face, his or her near ones, or his or her siblings, because this is what is called memory, and memory is the storehouse of earlier experiences, and they help the child brain to memorize the experiences. And by the time the child is in his or her by the time the child reaches 1 or 2 years of age, then the memory, his memory or her memory becomes quite strong, and is able to recognize person and objects, and by the time the child is 3 years old, is able to recount a story. Rote memory is strong up to early childhood, and logical memory developed towards late childhood and adolescence. Traditionally, the constructive memory has been divided into a number of types, defined largely in terms of the length of time over which information is retained or stored. For instance, memory is divided into short-term or working memory, in which information can be stored and manipulated for about 20 seconds, and long-term memory, in which information can be stored permanently. Long-term memory can be divided into storage of procedures or skills, such as how to tie your shoes, and storage of explicit or declarative memories, such as memories of personal events or of general knowledge about the world. The study of the development of each of the system can aid in understanding the cognitive abilities of both children and adults. So, when we talk about memory, like I said, can be divided into what is called short-term or working memory, in which information can be stored for about 20 seconds, and long-term memory, in which information can be stored permanently. like for example, the long-term memory for me would be when I was in school. I would remember my favorite teachers. I would remember my classmates, how I used to behave in the most often than not. I would remember how I used to be in the classroom, or how we used to eat lunch, and so on and so forth. So long term memory would be for me when I was in school. When we talk about intellectual development, creativity is also a very important aspect of intellectual development. And when we talk about creativity, it refers to the ability to think in novel ways. It is the root of human progress and can be developed at young age. When we think of creativity, we think of Mozart, we think of Picasso, we think of Einstein, people with a seemingly fated convergence of talent and opportunity. All sorts of people possessing various levels of intelligence and natural ability, and are capable of engaging in fulfilling creative processes. So when we talk about creativity is a very important part of intellectual development, and we have seen that a lot of people who are creative, a lot of people who are intelligent, use their intelligence to bring about creativity. For example, Picasso, for example, Mozart, and so on and so forth. And a lot of intelligent people bring about creativity in their intelligence to create work which is still remembered today. Your painting by Picasso, the musical notes that Mozart made, or the discovery of the famous scientist Einstein, and so on and so forth. Let me give you an example. We have what is called a person by the name of Shailesh Kumar Sethia, who played the harmonica for 12 hours and 20 minutes continuously to break the existing Limca record of 12 hours. So, with this feat, Shailesh says that he has made it to the Limca Book of Records. So, this is another aspect of creativity. He, as a person who plays harmonica for 12 hours and 20 minutes, broke the record, Limca record of 12 hours. Limca Book of Records is a book of records made by is a record made by Shailesh Kumar in terms of playing harmonica for 12 hours and 20 minutes, and he broke after 20 minutes from the previous Limca record of 12 hours. So this would be another level of creativity. And also, when we talk about intellectual development, problem solving is another very important part of intellectual development. Thinking and reasoning powers grow around 2.5 years to 3 years onwards. Problem solving skills required a person to understand the problem, create a plan to solve the problem, see the plan through and review the plan to ensure that the problem is solved and is not repeated. So, when we talk about intellectual development, problem solving is also another aspect of intellectual development. Children are able to think, children are able to apply their reasoning to solving problems. They are able to understand the problems, and they are able to create plans to solve the problem, and also see that they are the plans are reviewed and the problem is solved and not repeated. Another important part of intellectual development, aspect of intellectual development, or another part of mental development, because mental attitude is also another very important aspect of intellectual development. Mental development is also another aspect of intellectual development. Positive thinking. is also another aspect of intellectual development, because it is a mental attitude that admits into the mind thoughts, words and images that are conducive to growth, expansion and success. It is a mental attitude that expects favorable results. It can pass on messages whether of pain or pleasure from mother to the fetus by the umbilical channel. So when we talk about positive thinking, mothering affects thinking. Hormones, that is the chemical signals from living cells, pass on messages whether of pain or pleasure from the mother to the fetus by umbilical channel. So having a positive frame of mind is very important, because if you have a positive set of mind, it leads to what is called a healthy and successful outcome of every action and situation. It leads to what is called holistic and healthy personality, and it leads to success. It leads to confidence. It leads to it leads to what is called overall development of personality. So it is very important to inculcate positive thinking from the time the mother would be carrying the child, because the mothering affects thinking, and it is very important that the mother develops good positive thinking from early on, when when the mother is carrying the child, a baby boy or a baby girl, whatever. But it is very important to for the mother to have this sense of positive attitude, because it passes on messages of pain or pleasure from the mother to the fetus. So with this class, dear learners, I have completed aspects of intellectual development. Thank you so much for listening.